Making the most of your psychology degree. In this video, I'm going to share my career advice on the 6 ways you can set yourself up for success during and after you finish university. Welcome to my channel. I'm Johnny. I'm a career coach, former recruiter, and UC Davis alumni. Got my degree in psychology and human behavior. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you know exactly when I upload new content. Now, I mainly create career development videos. However, I learn new things every single day, and everything I learn, I'll be sharing here with you on this channel. The first piece of advice I want to share with you is to give yourself some time and discover your desired career path. Figuring out what profession you want to head into in advance is going to inform you of what you should be doing in addition to your core psychology curriculum. Now, typically, students fall into 3 different types of buckets here. Bucket number 1, you want to become a professional that specializes in a field not related to psychology. Now, these fields I'm talking about here are becoming a doctor, lawyer, social worker, physician, dentist, so on and so forth. So if you fall into this bucket, then you'll need to attend a professional school after completing your bachelor's. If you want to become a doctor, medical school. If you want to become a dentist, dentistry, lawyer, law school, you get the gist. If you know this ahead of time, then you can decide for yourself whether you want psychology to be your primary or your secondary study. So of course, what I mean here is your major and your minor. If you keep psychology as your major, then you'll need to take additional appropriate coursework and fill in the remainder of your requirements for your desired program. Otherwise, studying a different major that already has all the course requirements needed for your desired professional program might be a more convenient route for you. But you can always study psychology as your minor as well. For example, if you want to apply to medical school and become a doctor, you can do that with a psychology degree. You don't necessarily need a hard science degree. Understand that it'll be a little bit harder because the hard sciences degree are more likely to encompass all of the course requirements needed to apply to a medical school program. But you can do that with your psychology degree too. But there are instances, like I said, where students have studied psychology and then applied to medical school. And there's instances where students will apply to law school with a psychology degree, right? So you don't necessarily need a criminal justice degree, forensic science, or law degree to be able to do that. And in fact, my family doctor, which I recently learned, studied English as his undergraduate degree, right? So that is a possibility. My opinion is that if psychology is truly a field that you love and enjoy, then study it. If you enjoy it, you're more likely to get better grades, and it'll heighten your chance to get into these professional programs versus if you were to study something that you didn't enjoy as much. Bucket number 2, you want to go into a more advanced field related to psychology. Meaning you want to become a sports psychologist, industrial organizational psychologist, clinical psychologist, forensic psychologist, just to name a few. If you fall into this bucket, then you'll also need additional schooling after you complete your bachelor's. Majoring in psychology here, though, is completely fine, and most of the time it'll cover all of the core requirements that you'll need for these advanced psychology programs. And in bucket number 3, you're not looking to continue school and you're ready to start your career after you graduate. And this is what I did. While you're not going to be recognized as a psychologist, you'll still be able to indulge in your love for psychology and study it. If you fall into this category, understand that psychology is a versatile degree. A strong understanding of psychology can be applied to many, many different fields. As an example, if you know you want to go into marketing and you know this ahead of time, that's going to be a huge win for you because then you can take additional marketing classes or tack on a marketing minor to round out your psychology degree. Regardless of which bucket you fall into, knowing your desired career path ahead of time is going to help inform you of what steps you need to take. Career advice number 2, develop valuable skills. When I was in college, a lot of my good friends would jokingly clown me for studying psychology. And it was because they were studying things like biology and chemistry and animal science, and they would call it a pseudoscience. And maybe you've experienced the same thing or heard things from your parents or your relatives, whatever. The truth is though, unless you plan on going off to a professional school after you graduate, you're not more suitable for the job market if you're studying a hard science degree versus psychology. That's because these science and liberal arts degrees are heavily theoretical and research based. No matter what bucket you fall into, you need to develop valuable skills. you need a taste of real-world experience to complement what you're learning in class. My recommendation, join a specialized trade organization or a special interest club at your university, and then you can also get work experience in the form of a part-time job or internship or research experience, and then you can also shadow real-life professionals. And in the process of doing all of this, getting work experience and developing marketable skill sets, you want to pay special attention to, what kind of work is challenging you, what kind of work is invigorating, what kind of work is making time feel like it's passing by really quickly. And in doing so, what you'll be able to do is figure out what career path may or may not be right for you. Career advice number 3, be resourceful. Use every resource that's made available to you. When I was in college, there were so many resources that were available to me and I wasn't even aware of them. So you might not be aware of all of the things that are available to you. Make sure to go to office hours, schedule regular appointments with your advisor, and go to your career center and work with faculty to create an action plan for after you graduate. And most universities, at their health center, they also offer mental health counseling and massage sessions. So make sure to take advantage of those too. But don't just limit yourself to the resources that your school provides. There's also resources outside of school. Outside of school, some of those resources would look like listening to a podcast, reading blogs, or books on psychology or any other topics that you might find interesting. And you can even subscribe to channels like mine that's dedicated to helping you achieve your career goals. Which, by the way, if you found this video helpful so far, be sure to give it a thumbs up. But anyways, back to the video. Like I was saying, there's tons of resources that we often don't realize we have, yet it's all around us. And the wonderful thing is that most of it is free, so take advantage. Career advice number 4, focus on developing your relationships. Most of the work that we do in our professional life requires the cooperation and interaction with others. Whether you're taking a class or you're at the office, whether you're having lunch or you're taking a road trip. Going through these experiences and sharing them with others is going to make your college life and life in general a lot easier, and not to mention more fun. The same is true with job hunting once you graduate. In the book, The Career Playbook by James Citron, essential advice for today's aspiring young professionals, he mentions that 70% of all jobs are found through networking. So if you're a part of the 30% that found a job through submitting an application, congrats. You beat the odds, but the fact still remains that the overwhelming majority of jobs are filled by people employers already know or that are personally referred. In other words, by relationships. Why? It's a matter of trust. We're psychology majors, we should know this, right? Anyways, James Citron found that the #1 leading factor to happiness in his surveys and interviews is the quality of your relationships. Over 97% of both business leaders and young professionals ranked relationships above other factors like compensation, personal impact, and health. Overall, college is a fantastic place to form relationships. Meeting people in the same major, in the same class, in the same apartment complex. You can meet them on campus at clubs or events. If you care about mental health, there's a club for that. If you like to dance, there's probably a team for that. And there's even Greek life that you can join that's dedicated specifically to certain professions. Career advice number 5, apply your knowledge. Solidifying your knowledge is so much easier when you feel like what you're learning is relevant to you. So find a way to relate psychological concepts to your everyday life. Whether it's a TV show or interactions that you have with friends and family, make it relevant. Personally, I feel like psychology is a really easy major to do that with, although sometimes you will feel like you're going against conventional wisdom. Connect new information and concepts to things that you do every day. So whether those are stories that your friends or family are telling you through your interactions or the TV shows that you watch, make sure to understand the psychological concepts instead of just memorizing terms. And then once you have a really solid grasp of some of these concepts, make sure to share those insights with others. Solidify your knowledge by teaching that to someone else. Making it as concise and clear as possible will help reinforce that knowledge for yourself. Career advice number 6, keep learning and just never stop learning. This is more general career advice that applies to pretty much everyone, not just psychology majors, but once you graduate, once you get some experience under your belt, where you graduated, what you studied, it really doesn't matter as much anymore. Now, there are certain circumstances where it is absolutely important, so don't get me wrong. But once you're a full-blown professional, no one really cares where you studied years ago. Employers want results. So all they really care about is whether you can get them results now in the present. This is why I emphasize developing marketable skills by getting work experience, developing relationships, and learning and studying things that really interest you. The world changes fast, and a lot of the information we're learning now, unfortunately, is going to be outdated, or new information is going to come by that builds upon what we already know. So learn to love learning. If you found this video helpful and you want more content just like this, you can sign up for my newsletter and hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know which career advice you found most insightful. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you haven't already, I recently made a video on career paths for psychology majors, and it's awesome. Be sure to check that out here, or somewhere here.